2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, getting ready for the big program. It is a Friday, my friends, and we have plenty to talk about, so welcome into it. It's going to be a fun one. We have a lot of politics. We have more Epstein hearings that we'll get to, but we are going to kick off the program right out of the gate doing some history with some filmmaking and some real fun history on learning about Billy the Kid. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we'll have some fun with that. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave the comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for your Friday. Hang tight. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Friday. You finally made it to the end of the week. Pat yourself on the back, my friends. You scream, I scream. We all scream for ice cream. I know you are excited for another one. And here in Kansas, at least, it is warm. It's warmer than it should be. We'll just put it that way. I'm not a fan of this during the winter time. For all you people that are like, I'm excited for the summer. Well, you're getting a taste of it now. It's 78 degrees outside, and that's not okay for the month of February. No, it's not. I'm still wanting my 20-degree temperatures, at least for another few weeks before we start getting the warm stuff. Welcome into the program. It is a Friday. It's always great to have you along for the ride as usual. Setting that tone for the weekend. We're going to carpe diem all over this place. And that's what we do on this program each and every day. We have a lot to talk about, more Epstein hearings, and actually something kind of interesting out of the Bill Clinton testimony that happened, the deposition today. So we will get to that. We have Democrats that are now seeking some refunds on money. What does that actually mean?
Say what?
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that. Also, Kansas, where I'm based out of here with our flagship, making the news on a grand national scale. Democrats losing their minds over what our state legislature just passed recently. We'll have some fun with that as well. So, plenty to get to, little time to do it. As usual, welcome into the program, broadcasting here out of the heart of the nation, doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the show. If you want more information and if you want to sign up for our newsletter that is coming out on Monday, do not miss your opportunity for that. Become the latest Hooserholic by going to the website at HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Our social media with the same handle at Hooser Reason, and the podcast, which just saw another massive dump of downloads. Thank you for that. That is super awesome. We love you to death, man. Thank you. You can find it on any of your favorite podcasting sites by just typing in the full name of the radio program, which is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser, and any of your favorite podcasting sites. And subscribe, download it, and let's have some fun. All right, I don't want to waste any time. We have a guest right out of the gate today. It is a Friday, and I love having some offbeat topical discussions. But this one's awesome because, as you know, history seems to be one of the topical issues that we seem to forget about quite a bit, and we always get a particular narrative of certain historical icons, and that's where we're going to go to with our next guest on the program.
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really happy to have on the program. He is a writer and director. His brand new documentary regarding, and I love this being in Kansas, in the heart of the country, kind of where it's relevant for us, with Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma and Texas and New Mexico and all this whole area. The director of Blackwater Draw, The Making of Billy the Kid. Really happy to have on here Dugan Bridges. Dugan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Andy.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on here. I'm excited to chat with you. I love the story of Billy the Kid. Young Guns as a kid growing up was probably one of my favorite movies, and I know that is a complete Hollywood rewrite of Billy the Kid and his story. But I mean, living in this portion of the country and flyover country in Middle America, these stories of Billy the Kid and these outlaws and everybody, probably some of the coolest stories of American history.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a reason that they captured the imagination, of the American public back in the 1870s, 1880s. And, it even bled into the next 40, 50 years with the evolution of Hollywood and film and everything. So there's a reason that, even Hollywood was really built on Westerns in the very beginning. And it had a lot to do with all these outlaws.
Yeah, that is very true. First off, talk about why you chose to do this one in the first place. What drew you to Billy the Kid and draw you to actually want to do this documentary?
It was a guy that I knew, Steve Cedarwall. He's a retired cop, an investigator. He moved to New Mexico. He lives in Lincoln. And so in his retirement, he decided to try and solve cold cases of the Old West. And so in his backyard was Blackwater Draw, which was a murder that happened with the regulators and Billy the Kid. And no one had gotten on the land, and he was able to get access after it changed ownership.
Wow.
And so he went out to Blackwater Draw, and he actually found gun shell casings from the murder of John Tunstall, who was the boss of Billy the Kid and started this whole thing. And so he was doing LiDAR and stuff like that. And he's the one who brought it to our attention.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Talk about what it took to write something like this, a documentary going into the history and to find pieces of history that maybe a lot of people don't know, or the unwritten pieces of this history, and trying to find these nuggets that people probably would love to know about.
It would have been difficult on my own because, there's so much that is written about Billy the Kid. I also didn't realize that historians are very territorial as well, who write these different books, and they're kind of combative with each other. We actually had a run-in. So, with Steve, he had a friend who had written a book about Blackwater Draw. So those were kind of our two experts. And then the executive producers had a third-party expert come in, and he was trying to rip apart the story and tell us all of these different places where we got it wrong and whatnot. It almost destroyed the project.
Wow.
Thankfully, our experts kind of had enough to back up everything that they were claiming, that the executive producers were willing to continue to go through with it. But it really was just kind of a lesson that, with history, everybody has a point of view and a perspective. And sometimes you just have to go with it.
Yeah. What were some of those stories? What were some of those pushbacks that said that you guys got something completely wrong?
Yeah, so one of that, or some of that, had to do with, the actual event that we cover, which is the killing of Morton Baker. So John Tunstall was the boss of Billy the Kid. Billy and the regulators were just cowboys working on a ranch, and Billy witnessed his boss being killed, and that was by a posse that the local sheriff had sent out. To basically kill him, AKA arrest him and then kill him. And so Billy, with that, Billy and the regulators decided that instead of just going back and killing him right away or in retaliating, we're going to get deputized and whatnot. And so they actually got deputized by a justice of the peace. Don't ask me what the difference between a sheriff and a justice of the peace are. I still don't know, but it was a lawman and they had badges. They arrested these guys, and then halfway through, one of the regulators was killed, and both of the captives were killed by the regulators. And so this is the crux of our story, but also the contentious part because different experts believe that different things happened in this murder. And so our film, acknowledges that. And so it says we're going to we're actually not going to tell this through the eyes of the regulators or James Dolan and Sheriff Brady gang. We're going to tell this through the eyes of an independent reporter who was actually based on a real person on the ground there. And he did not have any kind of financial interest in how everything played out. Unlike the kind of major Santa Fe Gazette,
right.
Was on the Dolan side. And so anyway, we believe that, his information was kind of transferred to a federal agent that was sent out once the Lincoln War exploded. And that agent wrote a 350-page report, which you can buy today on Amazon as a book. But even still with that, right, his reporting of what happened, and even say like a deposition from Billy the Kid himself, was still like third party handed down from, a local who claimed to have talked to Billy, kind of thing, and then reporting it to that agent. So because of that, it was easy for, a historian to say, well, we believe, what the Santa Fe Chronicle said is correct. And, even though you might be taking the side of the Messiah Independent.
Very interesting. We're talking with Dugan Bridges. He's the writer and director of the new documentary Blackwater Draw, The Making of Billy the Kid. Real Clear Politics did a piece on it, which you can find on there for some of the video. I know you have some trailers that are coming out now as well, which is really kind of cool. Going through this process, what was maybe one of the most surprising or shocking facts that you discovered about Billy the Kid, about this Lincoln War, about that entire situation? Because obviously, like we said, it's been Hollywoodized, it's been modernized to, for the drama and for, Young Guns and for all these movies that, depict this era. But doing the documentary and finding the real truth, what was some of the most shocking bits of information you found?
What was shocking to me was, well, one, this shows you how much I didn't know. Billy the Kid never led the regulators. He was just a member. Dick Brewer was the leader, and then when he died early on, Frank McNabb took over. So it was just kind of amazing to me that, this guy, he was the youngest in the group, and he was just a soldier, ended up kind of becoming the icon of everything. And why was that? So that really surprised me.
Well, let's talk about that. Why was it? Why did he become the face of this movement and he became the iconic character?
Good question. So, I think it's a couple of reasons. Earnestly, like being there, we literally filmed on location of where all this happened. And so we were able to talk to locals who, had descended from regulators and stuff like that and lived there a long time. And, what I got from them was just kind of like how brave Billy the Kid was. And we tried to take this in our story, but, the camp was kind of divided. Half of them wanted to leave, and some of them wanted to stay and fight. And Billy was really the ringleader behind wanting to stay and fight. And they did, and eventually they lost. It took a couple months, but it kind of slowly, each fight, one of the regulators or a couple regulators died, and Billy always escaped. And then he was an incredible shot. And then one time, he's finally captured and arrested after several of his, buddies had died. And he, when he then killed two deputies and escaped his arrest when he was brought, to prison, I think that really launched him into the dime store novels of this guy has 9 lives kind of thing, and solidified his status kind of as a legend.
Interesting. Was he really as much of a quote unquote criminal as we have heard? And we've heard stories about him wrestling and stealing cattle and doing other horrendous things and becoming a mass murderer and killing a good number of people. Are all those myths actually true as well?
I think that, he was a vagabond and, orphan. At a young age, and so there is truth to stealing some horses or cattle and stuff like that, and I would equate that to him kind of being that vagabond and needing to provide for himself and just kind of being in a rough and tumble group, which is what cowboys were. That was not uncommon, but he was not a bloodthirsty killer. My takeaway was that he actually he tried to get out of it. And I don't think he wanted to be an outlaw from the beginning. You know, that starts with when his boss was killed. They could have just retaliated and killed those guys. You know, like they went through the process of trying to be badged up in order to get back at the people who were murdered. But then also, long after that, he actually appealed to the governor to call like a truce and said, you know, like, I'll lay down my arms if they lay down their arms, and I'll testify to like whatever you need testified to. So
interesting.
So even after kind of the war, he made an attempt, you know, to get out of this outlaw status, but you know, unfortunately,
and try and clear the air.
Governor.
Yeah, it didn't work. I tell you what. Yeah,
the governor.
Yeah, Dugan. I tell you what. That's a great ending, and I want to do that when we come back. We got to take a hard break here. It's Dugan Bridges, Blackwater Draw, The Making of Billy the Kid, brand new documentary. We got to go check this out. Going to be a lot of fun. Lots more of this coming up right around the corner. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now is your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, just welcome back into the program. Happy Friday to you. Moving through, getting you set for the weekend, and a fascinating conversation on history, especially American history, right here in the middle of America, right where I'm broadcasting out of in Wichita, Kansas, my flagship station, KQAM. By the way, we have some really exciting news I cannot wait to announce. We will probably do it on Monday, so stay tuned for that one. Right now, though, we are talking with Dugan Bridges. He's the writer and director of the latest documentary, Blackwater Draw, The Making of Billy the Kid. And Dugan, I hated to cut you off there, but it was the perfect time to cut you off as we talk about the end of Billy the Kid's life. And as you mentioned, him wanting to lay down arms. If they laid down arms, trying to clear the air, trying to get things done. And then we heard about the drama and the mystery of the end of Billy the Kid's life. And we've heard that he was killed by being shot in the back. We've also heard then that he was actually still alive, and then that he talked to a journalist like early 1900s, something like that, and that it was that claimed to be Billy the Kid, and then rode off into the sunset kind of thing. So from your research, from what you've seen, I know you focus particularly on this one particular incident. From what you've learned about Billy the Kid, what do you think happened to him at the end of his life?
I lean towards that he escaped.
Really?
I really do. There's different, and there's a couple reasons why. A cool little anecdote is that I would say this is the most kind of legend status for his life is how he died or where he ended up, because in England there's a gravestone. On John Tunstall's family farm property in England, they have a gravestone for Billy the Kid. They claim he escaped to England, lived out his life, and got married and lived there.
I had not heard that one.
Died, I had never heard that one either. I learned that from the locals, which is pretty crazy. But Pat Garrett was a friend of his, and Billy was, who killed him, and he was staying with his girlfriend's brother at the time. So, it wouldn't surprise me that after trying to, wave the white flag and to do a truce with the governor, he was denied that, if maybe his friend Pat Garrett, helped set him up in this way.
Wow. I was not aware of the theory of London, so that is super interesting. That just adds to the mystery altogether as well. So out of all the historical characters, we got just a minute or so left as we wrap things up. Out of all the Western characters of Wyatt Earp and Billy the Kid and all these other, gun shooters and sheriffs and everybody else, do you think that Billy the Kid is the top of legend when it comes to the history of Western America?
Maybe I'm a little biased, but after studying his life, I am. I do think he's at the top. I also, love the fact that, he really was fighting for injustice.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. He was fighting for a friend, a father figure who was killed, and he really just wanted to avenge him. And even though the kind of corrupt powers that be won out temporarily, you can say he got a final victory because they say that after he died, it was the catalyst to pass the famous law, comitatus, what's it called? I'm sorry, it's blanking on me. Posse comitatus, which is the law that says that you can't send in federal troops as police without an act of Congress. And that was passed after Billy the Kid was killed.
Wow. An instrumental individual for a long time, especially for this portion of the country, which is really kind of neat. Go and check it out. Blackwater Draw, The Making of Billy the Kid. What a fascinating way. I cannot wait to see this documentary. It's going to be amazing and giving more information about history that we do not normally get, which I am always excited about more information. Dugan, we appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for what you've done for this. Thank you for all the time and the hard effort that you put into making a documentary like this. Got to get you back on and talk again soon, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, Andy. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Appreciate it very much. Fascinating conversation. I love it. I love history, and especially I love that kind of history. That is one of the most unique times of American history that I think we all need to pay attention to. All right, got to take a break. We'll get to some of the current events and wrap up your week right here for The Voice of Reason on a Friday. Stay right here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, just welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a Friday, setting that tone, doing the thing, trying to carpe diem all over this place, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation one radio listener at a time. Thanks again to Dugan coming on the program. Great conversation. I hope you enjoyed that. That was fun. I love history lessons. I love American history, especially during our 250th birthday of the nation. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And talking about some of the great Western icons like Billy the Kid, the new documentary. Got to go check that one out. All right, we got a lot to talk about with the events going on today and for this week. But first, I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. Right now, as you know, everybody's talking about weight loss injections because, well, the results are really dramatic. And they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. But what if you're looking to lose weight but not be interested in the painful weekly injections or some of the side effects that come along with it? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are really remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter, and only with a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters that want to lose 10 pounds or more. So let's get you started if you're ready. Go to the website, takelean.com. When you use our promo code REASON, you'll get 20% off your order and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com. Use the promo code REASON for my listeners, REASON, takelean.com. Use the promo code REASON and do this journey with me for your health journey for 2026. All right, there's plenty to get to today, so let's jump right into it here, shall we?
What's trending today?
And it is day number 2 of hearings in the closed House Oversight Committee with the Clintons. And you can wonder how well that one turned out with Hillary Clinton being interviewed yesterday on the Epstein files. Bill Clinton, the one we were all waiting for today, happened. And apparently we got some kind of interesting information. Now, I want to preface, like we talked about yesterday, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but yesterday, Hillary, of course, the organized crime mentality, deflect, distract, deny. Deflect, distract, deny. Maybe you should have Donald Trump under oath and interview him. I know nothing about him. Even know that Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell were at my daughter's wedding. I don't know anything about them. Whatever. That's what we got from Hillary Clinton yesterday. Well, Bill obviously has been known to know Epstein for a very long time, flying on the plane a whole bunch of times, going down to the island like 27 times, kind of ridiculous. So today was the big meat and potatoes, what we were about to expect, and we got about what we expected from Bill today, just as much as we got from Hillary. We did get the opening statement, the official printed opening statement from Bill Clinton himself, and this was released by President Clinton's office. And it goes in, and thanks for, allowing this, and we're here for 2 reasons, and no one's above the law, and blah, 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 blah. The typical politician answer of no one's above the law, and everyone should be held the same account, but I don't know anything, and I plead the fifth. Right? That's kind of what we got from him. He did say, though, he said, quote, "We began this hearing with me raising my hand and taking an oath to tell the truth, but everyone has a responsibility to be honest with those that they represent. Whether you raised your hand or not, each and every one of us owes nothing." Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it in the Bill Clinton voice. We raise our hands, you raise your right hand or not, each and every one of us owes nothing less than the truth and accuracy to the American people. That depends on what the definition of is. Okay, that wasn't in there, but let's be honest, that's probably what he said. But he continues on with the opening statement. "Let me say what you're going to hear from me. First, I had no idea about the crimes of Epstein was committing. No matter how many photos you show me, I have 2 things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos." So he admits the photos are real. I'm curious. I really want to, and I can't wait for these to actually become public with the video and transcript and everything. I'm really curious to see how he responds to the painting and the portrait of him in a blue dress in the chair. I'm personal interest. You got to have a backstory to that one, and I'm sure it may not even have anything to do with young children or with anything criminal, but these elites, these crazy people where they go on these wild benders and do these wild elitist parties, I want to know the story behind. I got so plastered one night that I was in a dress and someone thought it was a great idea to take a photo of it or to paint it. Like, there's got to be a good story behind that. that I'm kind of itching to hear about. But here's his claims. I know what I saw, and more importantly, I know what I didn't see. I know what I did, and more importantly, what I did not do. I saw nothing, and I did nothing wrong. Now, that is the statement. That is, again, the typical organized crime mentality. Deflect, deny, distract. Deflect, deny, distract. I did nothing wrong. You should probably ask somebody else. Yes, I was involved, and I was, I knew him, but I didn't do anything. I didn't see anything. These aren't the droids you're looking for. And the question is, do you actually listen to him? Do you trust it? And do you believe what he actually had to say with that kind of testimony? Now, here's the crazy part, is that during the interview, and this is maybe playing nice, afraid of what's about to happen, because a guy who's been there probably more than anybody else, about to have the gauntlet dropped on him with how bad things actually were, that he maybe is trying to play nice with the current admin. A little bit different from Hillary's style, right? Hillary's still bitter she wasn't president because of Donald Trump. So she's like, you should go ask him. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, he's like, I really actually didn't say anything here.
I wanted to mention something because I know there's a lot of obsession about President Trump from the media, a lot of curiosity about President Trump from the media. I want to make a statement because they'll probably not mention this when they come out here. Ranking Member Garcia asked President Clinton, quote, should President Trump be called to answer questions from this committee? And President Clinton said, that's for you to decide. And the president went on to say that the president, Trump, has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved. And he met with Epstein. So I know there's a lot of curiosity about President Trump. I thought that was an interesting thing that President Clinton said.
A lot of curiosity. That's the only thing. Again, that's the only name that they're looking for. Republicans, for most Republicans, are looking to find whoever was actually involved or implicated at all in any fashion. Democrats are looking for one particular name, and that's Donald Trump. So the fact that Bill Clinton said, well, you can ask him, but he never mentioned anything to me about ever knowing about anything, about ever being involved in anything, trying to play nice with Donald Trump. Vastly different than his wife, who we know kind of runs the household. We get that idea, and no, I did not commit suicide later on tonight with a car accident. Just throwing that out there. But, vastly different than the approach of Hillary Clinton, who's bitter at Donald Trump for taking away the presidency from her, and therefore says, maybe you should go ask that guy, because I'm sure with how many times he's been mentioned in the Epstein files that he's implicated, and that you should go after that guy. Here's the thing, and this goes into the other topical stories.
What's trending today?
The midterm elections for 2026. Democrats don't have a platform at all. They don't know a platform. They don't know how to create a platform. All they have is anti-Donald Trump. And right now, Democrats are desperately clinging onto the Epstein files because they want Donald Trump implicated. That's all they care about. Again, because they're using the same tactic of how do we prevent him from going back into the White House in 2024? Let's do all these lawsuits. Let's try to put him in jail. Let's get him with the mugshot. Let's try and shut down his businesses. Let's try and put him behind bars. They were desperate to do so then. And apparently, since they don't have anything else, it's just rinse and repeat. Let's try and get Donald Trump again and tag him with the Epstein files. And that's all they have, according to Bill O'Reilly.
All the Democrats have right now, this is the only thing they have, is Epstein. That's all they have.
And the economy.
And I'll prove it.
Okay, I don't know who he's interviewing with. Was that Chris Cuomo? I don't know if that was Chris Cuomo or not, but they're like, well, and the economy. We got him on the economy, too. No, you don't. What are you talking about? Inflation's down. Wages are up. Tariffs are back in action. We'll get to that in a minute, too, because Democrats have now created a lawsuit, at least in the state of Michigan, and it's not going to go anywhere, but that's their attempt to try and bring down the Trump admin as well. But according to Bill O'Reilly, all they have is Epstein.
That's all they have.
And the economy.
And I'll prove it. Right after the State of the Union ended, I switched over to CNN, reliably Democrat. What were they talking about? Epstein. Weren't talking about the economy. Weren't talking about foreign affairs. Weren't talking about any of that with Epstein. That's all they have. And that's going to backlash against the Democratic Party. You wait and see.
All right. So, whoever it is, I think it's Chris Cuomo. It sounds like his voice. Well, I don't know about that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They really should focus more on the Epstein stuff and Donald Trump. But Bill O'Reilly's right. They don't have a platform, and we kind of saw that with the response to the State of the Union, where it was affordability, which affordability is kind of going in the tank, and they can't use that, which is why they use the terms of, is Donald Trump representing you and taking care of you for your wages and for your cost of living and so on and so forth, but they're not using the term affordability any longer. And then, of course, they had their crazy wild show of people in inflatable animal suits and dressed up as giraffes and singing and hymning and doing whatever else they do, which is really kind of strange. But here's when you know that you don't have anything, so you have to make things look bad in order to try and make yourself look a little bit more important. Here's what I mean. There is a new proposal of Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Democrats in Michigan, by the way, in New York. This is coming out of New York here. Governor Kathy Hochul is sending this letter to the Department of Justice, to the Department of Treasury, to the Department of Commerce, now suing the federal government to try and reimburse residents of the state of New York $1,700 and what they're calling the $1,700 tariff refund.
Say what?
I know, right? So they have to sue the federal government. Now that the Supreme Court said you're not allowed to do the tariffs like you were doing before, it's caused a lot of inflation, which it hasn't, by the way, but they say it's caused a lot of inflation, and therefore it's cost the consumer a lot of money, and therefore we demand a rebate check to come to us because the tariffs have been said unconstitutional the way that we're done. The Supreme Court ruled that, so therefore we want our money back in the sum of $1,700. Does that make any sense to anybody? Now, Donald Trump was going to give us a rebate of $1,500. And oh, by the way, the one big beautiful bill already cut your taxes roughly $3,000 to $3,700 a year. So I don't know what you're complaining about, but welcome to the Democrat Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. You know, it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives, but I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You know what the SAVE Act would do? Require that people show a birth certificate or a passport to register to vote. Something like 40% of Americans don't have those documents. So this is happening in real time to suppress and obstruct the ability of people to vote.
This is happening in real time, and if we understood the significance of the passage of time, then we understand what's happening in real time, so therefore we would really understand the significance of the passage of time. Kamala Harris, who has said that she's not ruling out her presidential run in 2028, and actually the latest poll from the Democrat side showing that she's actually ranked number 2 behind Gavin Newsom on that potential list of popularity by Democrat voters. That's fantastic. You can see how well she turned out last year, and by the way, it's in 1 or 2 points to Gavin Newsom. Like, I think he's 19 points, she's 17 points, so they're right there together. And if that's the popularity that she has, which wasn't very popular last time, that means that Newsom's not very popular and would do just about as well as what Kamala did in the past election too. So look, I mean, take it as you will. We're still way early for the 2028 presidential race, but man, if that's all the Democrats have, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, going through the 250th birthday, it is time for us to understand the real history of this nation, which is why we love the conversation we had earlier in the program about Western America and Billy the Kid and some of these great idols. Well, icons that we saw throughout our history here in the nation. But it's time to learn the real history. It's time for us to learn about ourselves and our kids and our grandkids and our friends and our neighbors and our family members and how we have fought the challenges of the times to try and raise ourselves up, raise this nation up, and continue to make it the best nation on the face of the earth. And Americans for Prosperity is doing that all year long with their campaign for Take One Small Step. Go to TakeOneSmallStep.com. TakeOneSmallStep.com. You can sign up. It's completely free, and you can learn about what you can do to be that beacon, that icon, and that role model, and that catalyst for change and greatness in your local community with TakeOneSmallStep.com. So we have Democrats out of the state of New York that are now suing the federal government and the Treasury Department for $1,700 refund checks because of the tariffs now that they have been shot down by the Supreme Court. It's not going to go anywhere, but that's what they're trying to do, saying that, well, it took the money out of the hard-earned Americans because of the inflation that's down right now, so I don't know how that makes a lot of sense, but we want checks of refunds of $1,700. Now remember, this is coming from the side that's just, again, doesn't quite have a platform. They want to attack Donald Trump when Donald Trump was actually wanting to give refunds and rebates back on tax returns this year anyways of $1,500 an individual because we've brought in so much revenue from the tariffs that we can actually give money back to the people that we shouldn't have given them in the first place. So we were already planning on getting a refund, potentially, under the Trump administration, the rebate that he wants to give us, while they sue for more money. And oh, by the way, because this year in the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the numbers that we're expected to see with the tax break that you and I are going to get, the average American, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, the anticipated projected tax break and less taxes that you're going to be paying this year range anywhere between $2,900 to $3,700. So I'm not sure why we're suing the federal government for $1,700 when we're already getting more of that back and just not paying taxes in the first place this year, and a potential rebate and tax breaks from the federal government already because of the revenue from the tariffs that could be in the sum of $1,000 to $1,500 an individual already. I don't know if those are actually happening, if those were just speculation, or if we've already started seeing those with people that have filed their taxes for the beginning of this year. But look, I mean, we're already seeing you and I pay less taxes overall in general. Inflation is stagnant at just over 2%, the lowest it's been in 4 years, and they're complaining about having to pay more, and they're trying to take advantage of a situation. Never let a crisis go to waste, right? That's what we always hear from the Democrats, and we're seeing nothing new coming from them on that front. The funny part is that we're still going to see tariffs just in a different fashion. So I don't know what they're doing. Other than Kathy Hochul is just being Kathy Hochul, Democrats are just being Democrats and finding new ways to go after Donald Trump. So if that's all they have is the economy's bad, which it's not, and Donald Trump's in the Epstein files, which he didn't do anything wrong, good luck in the midterms. The momentum is still trending their way because typically it does in an off season for the presidential race in a midterm season, but we can turn that around pretty quickly as well. We've already said it. There's a few opportunities for Republicans to do that, and that's to pass the SAVE Act. That's to codify the Trump administration's agenda and to ram down that agenda as quickly and as harshly as possible and make Democrats enjoy it. Are they doing that? Well, it's a work in progress. We're back at it again for Saturday for our syndicated program. Also back at it on Monday with some really big, exciting news. Until then, enjoy your weekend. It's The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch The Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.